We are coming to you live from $1 Million Studios. Your boys, Chris Speez,
a.k.a. the Revival's biggest fan.
And the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines.
Buy the t-shirt.
Speez and the Benchmark Show on a Monday night, September 24th, 2018. We thank you so much for being with us. All of you joining us here on Periscope or over on the YouTubes. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll consider subscribing wherever you are listening to the show. Thank you for the super hearts as they come in. We hope you'll continue to keep those super hearts coming. And if you want to chip in, I should say, to help out the show, don't forget about the tip jar. Silky's pointing at it right now. tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. Every little bit helps because
these bills need to get paid.
Indeed they do. And of course, as always, we want to hear what you thought of tonight's Raw. We can talk about New Japan from this past weekend. We can talk about the many WWE events coming up. So give us a call, 832-937-4559. That's
832-93-SILKY.
Give us a call. Our boy DJ is waiting online to take your calls, screen your calls, get you all ready to go. So thank you all for being with us once again. Silky, you want to give a couple shout-outs to the folks joining us on Periscope?
Of course. I mean, we've got Ted, we got B. Apter, Babaruski, Chris Surratt, Juanito, Michael Berry, Rebecca Smith, and several other motherfuckers that they won't let us see.
That's right, because we can't ever see anybody. So thank all of you for joining us. Thank you, those of you who are sending the super hearts already. We appreciate that. So plenty to get to on tonight's Monday Night Raw. Of course, the big news of the evening should have been the crowning achievement, the moment that we've all been waiting for.
We mean just Chris.
Special event where, hey, thank you very much, Geno Boy, for watching us from the Philippines. Welcome to you, sir. Or ma'am. I would imagine if it's Geno Boy that it's a sir, but thank you for being with us, man. Hope you'll continue to join us. It's just, I don't know. It was a great match.
It really was.
It was a very, very good match. The Revival looked great as usual. They are the standard bearers for tag team wrestling nowadays.
No, actually, Ziggler and McIntyre would.
They're not.
I mean, they are the champs. So
they're
by
the
definition,
champs, but that doesn't mean
no.
That they're
by
the
definition,
standard.
them being champs means they're the standard bearers.
That means that somebody up top likes them and wants to give them a push and doesn't like the Revival right now, which is unfortunate because the Revival are outstanding. So
fuck the Revival. Oh, but the good thing about the Revival is led me to do something I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
And you know what that is?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're dying to get to it here. All right, yeah.
Yes, it's a Revival Smart Tiers.
Okay, so
Smart Tiers, the Revival Edition.
Here's the deal, right? So those of you who watch the program are familiar with Smart Tiers, which is basically Smarky fans pissing and moaning about things that didn't go their way on pay-per-views, right? So Super Guy over here thought it would be cute and funny to record my reaction to the end of the match of the Revival and McIntyre tonight. So he did so and made the executive decision because, he does everything else on this fucking show, which by that I mean he does fuck all on the show.
I do a lot on this show.
But he decided, oh no, I'm going to go ahead and throw this segment in there just for shits and giggles. So somehow,
hey, let me do it.
Somehow he managed to. I sit down at the computer and all the shit's in here, and I'm like, "What is this?" He goes, "Oh, we got a special segment for the folks tonight."
So, for all of you out there watching, here is a Revival edition of Smart Tiers starring the Speez over here.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this in the slightest.
Go ahead and show the video.
Yeah, we're here. Here we go. Horse shit. Man, fuck this. Ugh. They fucking had it won like 4 fucking times. I don't have to respect shit. Fucking turds.
Oh, look at you. Oh, man. That was great. Was that not great, people? That was awesome. Damn, I'm good. Damn, I am fucking good.
Okay.
What? What were you going to say?
I do not.
Smark says what?
I do not
Smark
make
says
fun
what?
of Silky when he gets fired up about wrestling things. But he, on the other hand,
Smark says what?
Decided that this would be.
Matter of fact, I think we should show that again.
We're not.
We're gonna show that again.
We're not
Y'all
going to
wanna
show
see
it
that
again. No, nobody wants to see this shit again.
Bob
It was
Baruski, first time he's seen you without a hat.
Yeah.
He saw the horse.
Yeah, I was really excited about that. I was just sitting there in my work clothes, my t-shirt, my undershirt. And so he's like, we need to record this shit for posterity. That'd be funny. So
it was great. So look, NoFX fan says we should show it again.
No, we're not showing it again.
We're showing it again.
We're not fucking.
We're showing it again.
Horse shit. Man, fuck this. Ugh. They fucking had it won like 4 fucking times. I don't have to respect shit. Fucking turds.
As you can see, he is left. Oh man, that was so great. I mean, it was just great looking at him just being all smarky and shit and crying about his fucking revival and stuff. Oh my God, it didn't win. Horse shit. I don't have to respect shit. Don't tell me what to like.
Don't fucking start with me.
Don't tell me what to like. You know what? I think that.
Oh, great. That's
it's like your dance, but with rhythm. Get it. Come on, you want to join in?
No, I don't want to join in.
Come on.
This is the shit that I put up with.
Because you're a smart. Great ties. Oh, man. It was so good watching that. I mean, that kind of made my night.
I'm glad somebody's happy on this fucking show because clearly I'm not, about the fact that, first of all, we had to start off Monday Night Raw with Stephanie McMahon, so it was already a bad sign.
Hey, ratings went up.
You knew it was going to go in the shitter from that point on, all right? And then, to top it all off, not only do we have several Stephanie segments where I got to put up with her horse shit being on screen, then the fucking Revival lose, and then Silky hijacks the show with this fucking shit. So
it was great. Oh, man.
832-937-4559 is the phone number if you want to get in.
Or 832-93-SILKY.
Commiserate with me about the...
Yeah, so call in. Let's call in, and let's give Chris a whole bunch of shit. Like,
Juanito's right. I don't have to respect shit. Corey Graves, you got to respect Ziggler. I don't have to respect those fucking guys.
Yeah, you do. You kind of do, because they beat the...
WWE ought to respect the Revival, respect the fact that they're an actual fucking tag team and not some horseshit team of 2 singles guys that got thrown together at the last minute. Don't give him any ideas, yes. Bob Baruski, with this about time Silky hijacked the show shit, because...
I think it was. This was long. Obviously, the fans have been waiting for this shit.
Yeah.
They've been waiting patiently. And now it's happened, and it's great. But it was, as Brooke said on the YouTube, shout out to Brooke, it was a good match. Your guys put up a fight. They just did not put up a good fight because they lost.
They did. And unfortunately, hello, Brooke. Thank you very much for being with us.
We got them all flustered because I just did that drop. But what Samoa Joe would say is,
you failed.
Which makes the Revival.
And that makes you a failure.
Good stuff, man.
It's great stuff. So, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's a lot of fun. So, still no tag team championship for the. Are they on the Super Show over in Australia yet?
Oh, you thought they were going to be on the Super Show. The Revival don't get sent places. They don't go to fucking Australia or Saudi Arabia.
Okay, now
you be lucky to get them in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That was nice.
This is why I gave up drinking, folks, because nights like tonight.
But it was nice.
It'd be ugly.
Yeah, they did look great in defeat.
Thank you, Get the Tables.
I mean,
I'm going to stop.
That's a consolation. That's like
profits.
Participation trophy. That's what that is.
No, it's not. No
one looks good in defeat because you lost.
I didn't lose shit. The Revival lost just because my guys lost, which is unfortunate. But again, I can't book the fucking shows for WWE as much as I might like to. See, Rebecca Smith says shush because she knows what's up. She's a Revival fan. The Revival will be fighting in a bingo hall in Camden, New Jersey.
Yes. Don't miss it. They'll also be signing autographs at the Wawa in Pennsylvania.
You see what you're doing. What you're doing is encouraging a whole flock of Speezak instigators to flood the fucking chat room with shit just to get me worked up.
I'm talking to.
See, here comes England JT, and he's another one that will probably kill me. See you later, Chris Surratt. Thanks for being with us, man. We appreciate it.
All I'm doing is talking to a bunch of like-minded people.
Like-minded people that don't appreciate the greatness of the revival? That's unfortunate that...
No, like-minded that we like to give you shit.
Oh, well. Yeah.
And we don't appreciate the shittiness of the revival.
All right, then. On another note, we'll move on to somewhat happier things, I guess you could say. We did have Stephanie McMahon show up at the beginning of the show, and her big bitch was... that Baron Corbin wasn't doing his job, wasn't taking care of business, wasn't handling things as the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, particularly putting himself into a Universal title match with Roman Reigns and letting the Shield run roughshod over everybody. So she decided that Baron Corbin would have a match against the Shield tonight. It sounds like, and of course this is storyline shit, I'm sure, but it sounded like she was planting the seed for, if you don't get your shit together, we're bringing Kurt Angle back sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if Kurt Angle is set to come back. Rumor has it that Kurt Angle is actually set to come back as a competitor rather than just the...
Please don't.
Well,
I mean,
that's neither here nor there.
I mean...
That's one of the guys that... I know I've said in the past that, if guys want to come back, they should be allowed to come back. He just looks like he's hurting, man.
Yeah. I mean, he looks to be held together by duct tape and well wishes at this point. So... But Jeffrey Cross has something he'd like to say, which
the revival need mouth to mouth.
And I know just a guy that's going to give it to him.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is.
It's not going to happen.
The way you are. Oh, my revival lost. Oh, I loved him so much. He has a shrine of Dash and Dawson.
Yeah, just wait. Just wait until I put fucking Brie Bella's music on here on loop for the entire show, so you can get your whatever the fuck that noise is that she does there.
But if you put the picture up, I'll be okay with that.
Time to too sweet, says Michael Berry.
Boom.
Not gonna happen. Like I'm gonna too sweet you on the night that the revival fucking lose, as if my night's not going bad enough. Brooke says Finn's not on the card at Australia either. Is that the case? Is he not going over there?
No, he's not on the card.
That's surprising. That's unfortunate for him. But
yeah.
So it goes. Let's get to the Shield in particular. Now, there was some shenanigans from... Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that shortly as well. It would appear as though Braun Strowman and McIntyre are trying to turn Dean Ambrose against the Shield.
Yes.
Because Ambrose being the only guy that doesn't have a title immediately, of course, they were needling him about the fact that as soon as he got injured, Jason Jordan took his spot with Seth Rollins as the tag champs, and he didn't miss a beat, and so on and so forth. I don't think Ambrose was buying it, but it's going to fuel the speculation that's been there since Ambrose has returned that we might see Ambrose.
But what I think, at the end of the show, I think they rushed to that. So... Like, after the end of the match, they're celebrating. Ambrose is on the outside. Reigns and Rollins are on the inside. So he's standing between both of them. He's looking at both of them. And then finally he just runs in the ring and joins the Shield and do the, whole... I guess that's a mixture of Black Power and Sekai.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
I thought it was a Shield thing, but, if that's where you're going with it, then that's okay. But do you see at some point, because... Let's face it, WWE has been known to put things out there and then just pretend like they never happened and never come back to them again. But the fact that they're at least acknowledging the fact that there could be a potential heel turn for Ambrose, do you think maybe they go in that direction? Do you think this is something they pursue?
It might be, but I think you can't catch lightning in the bottle again. And that's what they did with Seth Rollins' turn. I feel like repeating that is going to fall flat, in my opinion.
Michael Berry Sr. likes it.
It's not. If I were to do it where he turns heel, I just have him leave. I wouldn't have him turn heel on the Shield because it's so much like what Seth did. Like, I would have him get into some feud, go too far, Shield trying to stop him, and he just like, fuck you all, and leaves. Okay.
Well, and just the callback to doing the same thing that they did with Seth Rollins, I could see them doing that. Babaruski trying to get a little Nation of Domination going.
Boom.
It's an anti-Speez Nation of Domination is what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Abomination.
How did you get that video of Louis C.K. yelling about the Revival losing? That's another one that never gets old. That's our good buddy NoFX.
But you know what? I'm going to throw you a bone today.
Yeah.
We got Rebecca on the line.
Exactly.
And she is upset that the Revival lost.
Of course she is, because Rebecca has good taste in wrestling. What's going on, Rebecca? How are you?
Still your pain about the Revival losing.
Yeah, as well you should be. And thank you for calling in and giving me some backup amongst all these jealous haters here who
Jackasses?
don't. Yeah,
Wow,
damn Skippy that don't appreciate damn
How about
fine.
we hang up on her?
We're not hanging
call
up on
into
her.
my show.
Shit.
You call me a jackass?
You can call into this
You
show
call everyone
anytime
else
you
a
like.
jackass, but not me.
Well, let me ask you this, Rebecca. They looked very, very good. It was a very entertaining match. I love the fact that they at least got the opportunity to shine on Monday Night Raw. You and I chat quite a bit on Twitter about the fact that we'd love to see them get the titles. Do you at least think that this is a sign that maybe they'll be hanging around and we'll be seeing more of them rather than just showing up every few weeks to get beat up backstage and go away for a while?
Well, I think this is a good sign for them. I really think, the crowd seemed behind them, and I've seen some rumors that it's possible that, they could be up for more than just one-off. So I'm hoping they will be.
I would certainly hope so as well, because, I mean, look, poking fun at me aside, they're a spectacular tag team.
No, they are.
They're
really
just
good tag team.
they're so good.
But they did the one cardinal thing you shouldn't do in WWE is look and act like a fucking tag team.
Yeah, I guess so, because
Yeah.
the tag teams that act like tag teams,
Don't get pushed.
for whatever reason, they don't get pushed. So now Rebecca here, also a huge Baron Corbin fan. So I can only assume that you were not happy with the way that Raw closed tonight.
I was pissed about the way Raw closed tonight. AOP and Corbin is like my girl wet dream.
There you go.
Okay.
So for them losing, them losing was just shit on bricks. And I'm pissed at Rollins anyway for comparing Baron Corbin to a substitute teacher. I'm a substitute teacher, so he slapped me in the face, so I'm done with Rollins.
Okay. I mean, I got to admit, I did kind of laugh at that line. Now,
that
not
was
because
funny.
it was, had I known that Rebecca was a
Um,
substitute teacher, I
still
wouldn't have
would've
laughed then.
I'm an asshole.
Well, of course you would have.
But, I mean, the whole AOP thing, like, it was a good look for them, finally getting the main event, but I just don't. That Drake Maverick thing, it takes away from me.
Yeah, he's
not a good talker. He's not physically imposing. Like, what does he have? Think about it. What does he have that would stop them from rebelling and beating the shit out of him?
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
Like, they need somebody
Well,
that's
he's
like.
not exactly Leo Rush.
No, I mean.
That's
Leo
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
I mean, look, I turned on Raw right when Leo Rush, they had a shot of Leo Rush at ringside hollering at Bobby Lashley. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, what the fuck's going on? How did that kid get there? I mean, it's just, I can't help it. He looks like a little kid. He just does.
I mean, yeah, I don't understand that either, that pairing. Because it's just, like you say, if you're going to manage someone, especially like a monster like the AOP is as a tag team, at least Paul Ellering, he had that pedigree. He still, even in his old age, has that intimidating build to where he's old school throwback to, the hook and shoot grapplers.
Absolutely.
Who could probably still fuck them up.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Drake Maverick, not so much.
No, Rockstar Spud is not.
Rockstar Spud, no. I mean,
not at all.
You could take Rockstar Spud.
Probably so. So. Well, Rebecca, it's been a long night for me. I know it's been a long night for you as a Baron Corbin and AOP fan as well. So I guess we should commiserate together. But anything else you want to get to before we move along here?
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for
I
the
just wanted
call.
to show you some support.
I appreciate it, Rebecca. Thank you
Thank you
again
for
for calling, and we will talk to you very soon.
Okay, bye.
Take care. That is our good friend Rebecca, fan of the Revival and of Baron Corbin and AOP.
Yeah.
So this is about as bad a night as you could have
I know.
as a fan of Baron Corbin, the Revival,
right now,
and
for
AOP.
Her fandom, it's like raining shit on her.
Absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely. 832-937-4559 If you want to get in on the phone lines, feel free to give us a call. We're talking Monday Night Raw.
832-93 Silky.
Indeed. We'll also get to some New Japan.
New Japan.
They had their big destruction event this past weekend, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get over to Brie Bella. There's been some rumbling online as we get closer and closer to Evolution, and some of these matches are starting to get announced. And there's been some pushback from a certain portion of the fan base about where the Divas fit in to this overall Evolution thing. And there was actually
Divas anymore, remember?
Well, and that was it was an article that was written today, or I believe it was yesterday, and I can't remember the website, but basically talking about how the Divas shouldn't really have a part in Evolution because they were everything that was wrong with women's wrestling.
Oh, okay.
And all the women on the roster, and kudos to them, because we've seen before how the WWE roster will get behind a certain topic and crush people online. And that's what happened with this one. I mean, Paige jumped on and crushed them, and Carmella did the same. I believe Maria Kanellis was another one, basically saying, look, this is horseshit. I mean, every woman that's come before us, them doing what they did paved the way for us to be here, because if they didn't go and do what they did, then we wouldn't be here. I mean, and it's...
I mean, that's a far stretch. I mean, and it's a generic thing. What else do you want to say? The sky is blue? I mean, of course, everyone that came before you in your chosen profession in some way paved the way, whether it's good or bad. I mean, and it may not be, and I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, but, I mean, this may not necessarily be a bad thing. I don't know about the going as far as saying they don't belong on Evolution, but I mean, you make a valid point when you say that they were what's wrong. That's obviously what they went away from.
Now, and the reason I bring this up is because the Bellas were the ones that were getting the brunt of this because they're still around. Yeah. And I'll say this to the Bellas' credit, because nobody's going to argue that they're the greatest female workers of all time, but in an era where most of the women were there simply because they looked hot. I mean, these were two women who worked their asses off to get better. And yeah, they're still not spectacular. There's still a pretty big gap between the best women in WWE now and the Bellas. But I'm not going to knock them because, like I said, they could have just been pretty faces. And instead they put in the work and they got a hell of a lot better. I give them that. All that being said, if you watched the 6-woman tag match earlier tonight, and Silky, you and I looked at this clip again, you saw that Liv Morgan left the match early, and the reason,
RIP to her face.
For those of you who did not see it, you can check it out on our Twitter at Speez Benchmark. She took not one but 2 yes kicks directly to the face.
Kicked her in the face.
I mean, it was
knocked
bad.
Her smooth the fuck out.
Obviously, Bree's, kicking her in the chest, and she's taking, the chest kicks and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, as she starts to go down, Bree kicks her again, not once, but twice. And if you watch the match, Bree immediately goes for the pin there. And
she's dead weight. She is, at that point, she is knocked out.
If Liv Morgan does not even kick out of the cover, that's how bad it was. I mean, I think Bree kind of jumps to give the illusion that she kicked out.
Yeah.
She was out of it, because at that point, Bree's trying to pick her up, and Liv can't even stand up. She basically staggers to the corner, and they take her to the back. Probably a concussion. I mean, I can only guess.
I would imagine so.
I mean, the fact that she couldn't even get on her
best
feet.
Case scenario. I mean, I didn't see any blood or anything, but I mean, could have easily broke her nose, cracked her orbital socket, depending on where that kick landed on her face. But we know it landed on her face.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Rebecca points out that that site that knocked the women is just a bunch of turds that generally do that type of thing. Jeffrey Cross is saying that she does have a concussion, so I hadn't seen for sure whether or not that happened. Who the hell trained this woman to be so stiff in her return? Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it just I felt bad for Liv Morgan. Hopefully she's okay, but do you blame? Because here's the thing. Naturally, WWE Twitter has to go nuts, and we have to blame somebody. It was either Liv's fault because she ducked her head down too soon and leaned into the kicks, or it was Bree's fault because she's reckless in the ring.
I mean,
or can we just say shit happens and this was an accident?
She got kicked in the fucking face. Like, it happens. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those like rapid fire kicks because the person selling that exactly what happened is she's getting kicked, which those kicks sting when you get kicked in the chest.
I can imagine.
And then naturally you slump your position. So she kicks you, you slump, and you're still selling, and she rapid fires that second kick. You haven't gotten up to feet or your chest, so boom, you get kicked in the face. That's why, like I say, I'm not a fan of like rapid fire kicks, rapid fire chops, shit like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not either. But I mean, it's just unfortunate. I hate to see stuff like that in any sport. You know, we're both football fans. Obviously, we see it in football a lot of times where people, the fact that she's trying to get up and walk and she can't even get up and walk. I mean, that's just not good.
She was walking and she was just dead weight being dragged.
That's what I'm saying. It did not look good at all. The Bellas keep botching. Brie almost crippled herself during the suicide dive. Yeah, that didn't look very good either.
Yeah, but that's again, that's shit that happens. Anyone can botch a dive, suicide dive. That's why they call it a fucking suicide, because it's a high risk. You clip, all it takes is a little bit to clip that rope,
and that's the thing.
Boom, you fall short.
You see guys do this all the time, and they make shit look easy.
Yeah, you take for granted how hard it is to do these things, and how much guts it takes, because there is nothing but that person and the floor. So when you're jumping, you're just going on a hope and a prayer that this doesn't hurt you as bad.
Leave it to the porn bot to actually repeat the one phrase. Give you a tip, I'll give you the whole thing. Oh, thank you, Mac Diesel, for that one. Let's see. Michael Berry Sr. was on here just a second ago. So, oh, yeah, if you can dodge a kick, you can dodge a ball. So,
Good one.
You know, you got that going as well. 832-93-SILKY, 832-937-4559 if you want to get in on the phone lines.
832-93-SILKY.
Yes, 832-93. I'm not going to sing it because it's been a bad enough night as it is. We'll also get into a little bit of SmackDown Live coming tomorrow. We've got AJ Styles and Samoa Joe going face-to-face. AJ Styles at the house that AJ Styles built. You know, if he built a house down here in Texas, I can almost guarantee you who he would have used for it.
I know. He would have used our good buddy, Travis Wallach.
You're damn skippy. He would have used our good buddy, Travis Wallach. Travis Wallach at Prestige Properties.
Boom.
TravW777 at gmail.com. 713-882-4609. This is commercial real estate. This is residential real estate. You know by now what it is. So we expect to see some people down here. That's all there is to it. You guys got to start buying houses.
You got to start buying houses down here, and you got to use Travis.
That's exactly right. Love y'all, man. Put a shirt on so I can buy. Yeah, Mac Diesel says that. We got to get the T-shirts up as well. Yeah, but we'll talk about T-shirts in a minute. Right now, we're talking about Prestige Properties.
This T-shirt.
Yes, stop
This is my tattoo. See? That's called branding.
Yeah, I see what that is. But again, if you are in the area, if you know somebody down here, look, you might not be coming down to this area. You might know somebody in this area. Anything you can do to help spread the good word, we would appreciate it, because as we said, the Wallach family, all of them, Travis, Tyler Wallach, over with his artwork. We're going to have some of his stuff coming on here shortly as well. And, of course, our main man, Cooper, who is a huge fan of The Benchmark. Boom. And a big fan and supporter of our show as well. So if you can help us spread the word, we would appreciate it. Prestige Properties, 713-882-4609. Proud sponsors of the Speez and The Benchmark Show. So, bless you, sir.
Thanks.
Who do we got joining us here? It looks like the numbers are going up. That's good. Always enjoy that. It's an accident. It happens. To be honest, Liv Morgan is not good in the ring. Best wishes to her, says Brooks. So.
Low-key, it's her fault.
Rebecca can't leave her Chiefs up in Missouri. I understand that, especially with your boy Patrick Mahomes just lighting the fucking world on fire. That's just completely ridiculous what that guy's doing. But let's not
talk football. It was
we're
not
not
a good
gonna
weekend for me for football.
I don't imagine that it was.
Yeah.
Let's get over to some. I mean,
Detroit.
if there's anything else you guys feel like we need to talk about on Monday Night Raw, feel free to hit us up in the chat room and let us know. I mean, it was another.
It was Raw.
There wasn't a whole lot of build toward anything else. We saw a little bit of Bobby Roode and Chad Gable again.
That irritates me. But they'll probably end up taking chance before the revival.
That was just going to say the same shit. You watch those fucking clown shoes.
Fuck the Lions, no FX fan.
Will end up.
I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
stupid. They ain't done shit all year, and now they want to fucking play.
Yeah, see, now I could have come and given you shit about the Lions beating the Patriots.
I would have given you shit about the Giants beating the Texans.
Yeah, here's the difference. Everybody knows the Texans are shitty. The Patriots are supposed to be good.
The Patriots are good. They just had a couple bad games. They've fallen on some hard times. They're gonna catch you on the get back. Watch.
Okay, now take out the Patriots and put the Revival in there, and that's exactly what logical, well-versed wrestling fans feel at this particular moment. That's exactly what they feel.
No.
That's exactly true.
No.
We saw.
No.
I'm telling you right now. You think today's meltdown was bad?
No, God.
They're gonna win.
No, God, please, no.
They are gonna win.
No.
I'm telling you right now, if fucking Chad Gable.
No.
If Chad Gable and Bobby Roode win the Raw tag team titles before the Revival do, the very minimal, small meltdown that I had tonight after the Revival lost will pale in comparison to the cataclysmic, earth-rattling fucking meltdown that I have if those two fucking clown shoes win the fucking Raw tag team titles before the Revival.
We'll be there to catch it on video for posterity.
And
we will show it on the show.
Throw me a freaking bone here, people. I'm not asking for a lot.
You're gonna see a grown man cry.
No, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's not gonna happen.
That's Chris.
No, it's gonna be.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
Yeah, the fact that we're even having this discussion is what that is. It's completely ridiculous. We also saw Elias in the ring for a change.
Yeah.
Which was nice. Actually getting some in-ring action there against Bobby Lashley. That thing's been going on for a while. Good on him. But I don't really know what they're doing.
He's going to the Super Show.
No shit.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lordy. Chad Gable's what you call creative has nothing for you. I could see that.
That is true.
You guys need to get the Kawhi Leonard laugh from today on cue.
Yes.
I need to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, my God. I saw that. That was hilarious.
I need to check it out. Your love for the Revival is like Tony's for the Street Profits. The difference is the Revival are actually good, a decent tag team is what that. Oh, that just happened. Yeah, Tony from Get the Tables.
Street Profits will probably be tag team champs before. Wait, no, they're black. They won't.
Slater and Rhino winning the titles. They got kids.
They got kids.
Did Dash and Dawson have kids?
Probably not. I don't know.
Maybe that's the problem.
They need
to just start laying pipe all across the country and fucking throwing down.
Kids, I need this job.
Exactly.
I need these titles.
Maybe that's what's supposed to happen. Who knows? Let's get over to some New Japan here. We had the Destruction event this past weekend, and the big news, or I guess you could say the big news, was the fact that Hiroshi Tanahashi was defending the right to challenge Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom in the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. So this would have been the first time that somebody had lost that right that basically Tanahashi having won. For those of you who
almost like
it's like a Money in the Bank.
Not really. It's more like if you watch Lucha Underground, the Gift of the Gods title.
Okay.
It's like
That's
that.
fair.
It's the title guarantees you a shot at the heavyweight champion, but up until you take that shot, you are subject to defend it, and so you can lose it. And no one's ever lost it.
Yeah.
Because, it's pretty much New Japan is kind of like set in their ways in the sense of, you know what, we think Tanahashi Omega's going to headline Wrestle Kingdom, so that's what it's going to be. You give them a couple of matches, and it's never a lot. It's like maybe 1, 2, at the most, like 3 matches leading into Wrestle Kingdom where they'll defend it. But it's against top-tier talent.
Right.
Like this one was Okada. I'm pretty sure Jay White's going to get a crack at it.
Probably so.
Things like that.
Somebody along those lines.
Up that person so that when they go into this championship match, it's even bigger because not only did he win this hellacious, grueling fucking 2-day tournament, he also defended that right.
2-week tournament. Yeah. And then he defended it against high-quality opponents.
Yeah.
Some folks might call that good booking.
Yeah. That some might.
Tends to work out pretty well. But, of course, spoiler alert for those of you who are wanting to watch this match, because it was a rock-solid match, as you can expect from those two guys. They're outstanding. If you have a chance to go check it out, do so. But if you don't want to know what happened, then mute this for a moment. But Tanahashi did get the win, so we are still on pace for Hiroshi Tanahashi, our boy.
Yes.
Who's on the podcast.
He's on the podcast.
I had the good fortune to meet Tanahashi in New Orleans at WrestleMania this year.
You should find that drop.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We'll definitely have that on here.
And then
the other thing I didn't know about, and this was kind of disappointing because...
Oh, I knew about it.
I feel like for all the hype around Kenny Omega winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, I don't feel like he's done a lot with it since he's won it.
I mean, he...
Now, granted, you had the G1, and so that takes up a lot of time. But, you know, again, it's kind of like there was so much build, and justifiably so. I mean, I'm not trying to knock that feud. That feud with Okada was fantastic, and the way they booked that whole thing over a year and a half was outstanding. I feel like his reign to this point has left a little bit to be desired, and the match that it seemed like everybody wanted to see coming out of the G1 was Omega taking on Ishii, because they had a superb match in the G1.
And then they did. They had another one.
And they had a match this past weekend
like
at
30,
Destruction.
Yeah, it was like 32 minutes, and it was amazing.
And for those of you...
Those two just... I'm not going to say, because more, I think Omega, Okada would be more like the Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat type feud of New Japan. But, I mean, maybe Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, I mean, because that's how good every time Ishii and Omega wrestle each other, it's just phenomenal.
Because it's two different styles. For those of you who don't follow, Ishii is more of a... He's a hard hitter guy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
there's nothing fancy about him.
No, he just knocks the shit out of people.
He hits you, and he hits you hard.
Yeah, and
several
it's
times around the facial region.
And it looks legit. Brutal. I mean, it's very much strong style, as they would say. And Omega's more of the athletic, high flying moves, things like that. Not to say, he can't battle in that strong style as well. But so I haven't got a chance to see this match, but. It was a solid match.
Oh, yeah, it was a great match.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine between those two. But anyway, Omega coming away with the victory on that one. Still your IWGP Heavyweight Champion, as you would expect. His contract, along with the Young Bucks contract, coming up at the end of this year, I want to say.
They're just going to go through Wrestle Kingdom because they got to. I'm
sure they'll go at least through Wrestle Kingdom. Even if they sign elsewhere, they will at least fulfill that obligation. But
I just don't see it. I mean,
they said at the end of All In, and the reason we bring this up is because the speculation has been that perhaps those guys could be. They will. I have a feeling that WWE is just going to back up the Brinks truck and offer them a shit ton of money to come over to the WWE. Now, maybe they do, maybe they don't. What's your thought on this? Being a guy that follows New Japan a lot more than your average wrestler, do you think the Bucks in particular? But Kenny Omega as well have a very good thing going over there. Do you see them leaving that behind?
Hell no. There's no fucking way. Because, they could get offered a lot of money, but they like that creative freedom and, being the big fish in the small pond. And not saying New Japan is small compared to WWE, but, let's be real. The Bucks go to WWE, they're not going to be as successful. Maybe in NXT because
they'll win the fucking titles before the Revival will. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, me and you will win the titles before the fucking Revival.
Shit.
Fucking a 10-year-old won the title before the Revival. Anyway, but yeah, I think that the Bucks won't be as successful in the WWE system. Now, Omega let me
stop you there real quick because. That's the knock that I hear, and I see the question on here about why has Jericho defended the IWGP Intercontinental title yet? No, he has not, and we can talk about that in just a minute here. I see that argument a lot. The go-to argument for fans of New Japan and Ring of Honor and basically any promotion outside of the WWE is WWE is going to ruin those guys if they come in. They're just going to completely ruin them. But here's what I was going to say. You can argue that in the last couple of years, next to no one has had as strong of a push in terms of winning and holding a major title and so on and so forth as AJ Styles. In fact, we were going to bring this graphic up last week, the most consecutive pay-per-views, because Shinsuke Nakamura missed his first ever main roster pay-per-view at Hell in a Cell. He didn't appear on that one. Neither did Kevin Owens. That ended a long streak for both of them. The second most consecutive pay-per-views right now is Seth Rollins at 16. He's been on 16 consecutive pay-per-views. And that doesn't, if it's a SmackDown-only pay-per-view and Rollins isn't on that one, that doesn't count. I mean, of the last 16 he's been eligible for, he's been in 16 in a row. He's the second place guy. Styles is the first place guy. You know how many consecutive pay-per-views Styles has been on? He's been on double that. He's been on 31 consecutive pay-per-views. And a good majority of the time, he's been the WWE champion. So you can make the argument. I feel like people that say...
I don't like where you're going with this.
People that say that, they're going to ruin him if he comes in. They're never going to give him a shot and so on and so forth. They didn't fucking ruin AJ Styles. They did not give AJ Styles a shot.
Apples and fucking oranges, man.
What are you talking about?
Apples and oranges. AJ Styles and the Bucks.
A much ballyhooed guy coming over from New Japan who WWE fans are going to get completely ruined.
But the difference is AJ Styles didn't make his name in New Japan. AJ Styles was already a fucking made man, like a name from his shit in TNA. So
that's fair. You don't think the Bucks are a name?
No,
you don't think they're made men?
They are in New Japan, but I think that their style will. I mean, who are you going to put them with besides like the New Day, of course? Like Usos,
I'm just talking about in terms of
success and money made from marketing and merchandise. They are way better in New Japan than they will ever be in the WWE, in my opinion. And that's not saying they're not good enough to cut the mustard. No, that's not saying that. It's just that with their style, their size, their desire to fucking be, on top and be at a place where they can have freedoms, they just wouldn't be.
And my only point in bringing it up was I get tired of seeing that argument. Well, they're going to ruin him. They're going to ruin this guy. They're going to ruin that guy. I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think there's been opportunities where guys have come in and done well for themselves. Shout out to the Smart to Death guys who joined us here on the program. Another fine podcast that you can check out. Smart to Death says Omega is more of a WWE guy than AJ was.
Yeah, I like No Effects. Got a good example. Omega is like AJ. The Bucks are like Gallows and Anderson.
You can see that. You can see that.
In terms of success, I believe that's where it is. Because I believe Omega is the star of the group.
Well, I agree.
Now, the Young Bucks are the minds behind it. And I don't know how much of what Omega does that the Bucks are in on to help get him to that. But he just has it. I mean, the in-ring style, the flashy stuff, the hard-hitting stuff, the endurance just to go to war, the charisma, he has it all. So I see Omega being a big star if he decided to go WWE route. Now, the Young Bucks, I don't, because, again, they're a fucking tag team.
And
they look like a tag team. They dress like a tag team. They do tag team shit. And where does that got your fucking revival?
Well, here's the
point.
Not
a motherfucking place.
And here's my point in bringing it up, because they have said that they're sticking together. So you could make the argument that for Omega, it's a good move to come to WWE. I'm just going to go to some of the comments here. Get the Table says Omega would get the Styles treatment. Smart to Death, Omega would be a star. He wouldn't have the freedom, but he'd get the AJ treatment or better. And you're saying the same thing. Basically, Omega is the guy that if he comes in, he's going to do very well for himself. Now, I don't necessarily feel that the Young Bucks are going to do great in the WWE either. My point being, I was just bringing up the fact that
I could see them doing well because there's a little more freedom with their matches. They can do, the Young Bucks aren't like 10, 12-minute matched guys as far as a tag team. Like, you need the Young Bucks to give you 20, 30 minutes.
No, I agree.
And the only way they're going to do that is put them on NXT. But if you put them on NXT, the whole internet's going to fucking implode because
now that's my next question.
They feel like they're main roster ready, which they are. But if I were the Young Bucks, I would negotiate the same pay, but yeah, put me on NXT. You fucking take over. I get like a 30-minute match versus I'm doing this played out shit, and then maybe get 10 minutes on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it, I'm good as long as the money's there.
And here's the thing: would the Bucks, and I'm asking this to you guys in the chat room as well, would the Bucks look at coming over to NXT as I don't want to say a slap in the face, but would they see that as, hey, if we're coming, we're going fucking main roster? Because we can say all we want about NXT and the match, the style of the matches is better. You get more time on the pay-per-views. All of that's true. But there's no question whatsoever. There's no denying the fact that the main roster superstars get seen by a shit ton more people.
That is true.
And they get their names out there, especially with the fact that WWE's got the move to Fox coming up. And so you're going to get into even more fucking homes that way. So do the Bucks look at a move to NXT as kind of the minor leagues?
I mean, it is. It 100% is. But, I mean, if you're the Young Bucks, and I imagine the type of pull they would have in these negotiations, seeing that, the signing of the Bucks and Omega would probably be the biggest signing.
Because they would come
bigger
together.
Bigger than Kenta, bigger than AJ, bigger than Gallows and Anderson. It would be the biggest thing, I think, period.
Yeah, I mean,
Bigger
you could
than
go
Joe.
back.
I mean,
God, you could go
shit.
back to when Jericho, not Jericho, sorry, when Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and Perry Saturn
I
and
think
those
it's
guys.
bigger than that.
But it's
like,
bigger than those guys because those guys weren't such huge stars at the time.
Yeah.
They came to WWE
like,
and
this
became
is-
huge stars.
This only thing possibly would be bigger than this is if they would have got Sting right after WCW closed.
That's fair.
I mean, so I think they have the clout going into negotiations to be like, you know what, I want this much money, which I'm going to bring on the merchandising and all that. Put me onto NXT. Long as I'm getting paid, because the Bucks strike me from when I met them as like, they're about their money.
Oh, I agree.
So,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
Now,
there's nothing.
that's
I mean,
not a
in
knock
this
at all.
business, that is what you need to be about. So if I can get the same amount of pay, but work NXT, work arguably better matches
With fucking hyped crowds who are into every match.
you go to like what 6,000 or 7,000 people who fucking love it, and as opposed to working in front of like 14, 15, 20,000 seat arenas where like maybe 1,500 of them are actually hardcore fans. The rest are mixtures of like people going there, bringing someone that may not even like wrestling, or dad bringing his fucking kid that loves wrestling and he doesn't really into it. No, I would totally go NXT, in my opinion, if I were the Bucks. Now, Omega, he's going main roster. We all know that. And he's going like to the top.
Yeah, he's going to be you would expect him to at least desire a push to WrestleMania headliner status. I mean, he's
like,
that would be the end game for him.
I think that's what I would do. I mean,
Sorry, man, didn't mean to interrupt you. Few more minutes to get in on the phone lines, guys. If you want to give us a call, 832-937-4559. If you want to talk a little bit more about the Bucks and Omega and NXT, WWE, anything you want to talk about here. And one of the things, just to get some of the comments over here, Bobarooski says that the Bucks don't fit Vince's height and weight meter. So, Smart to Death makes a good point. They put on their own show and they sold it out. So they in that regard, they don't think that they would accept NXT.
Well,
and Rebecca doesn't think that they'd go NXT either. Here's another question. I saw an article written the other day, an opinion article that I thought was interesting. Could we ever get to a point to where NXT was a destination rather than just a stepping stone to the main roster, where guys could get to NXT and that's the end game for them? They stay at NXT. They're NXT superstars. That's where they are. Sort of like what we've been talking about with 205 Live. Make 205 Live a destination where if you get some big names on there, you start drawing some bigger crowds, people sticking around after SmackDown to actually watch 205 Live and be a part of it. Then maybe you start to see growth in that show. Is there anything wrong with, or could we potentially see a move toward NXT being an end game where guys go to NXT and stay at NXT?
No. I mean, because of the fact that it's still viewed as developmental. And so they don't travel as much. They work their same set schedule. Only way that would happen is if you elevate NXT to its third brand, almost like back when it was WWE,
WCW, ECW.
no, Raw, SmackDown, ECW.
Gotcha.
Back when they're three brands under the same umbrella. That's the only way that would work, because then it still looked as a main roster and not a developmental.
Let me ask you this. We're thinking of big name guys. What about guys like a Tyler Breeze? What about a guy like a Ty Dillinger? Guys who get called up to the main roster, the Ascension. They get called up to the main roster, but main roster didn't really have anything for them. If you, as a professional wrestler, because you're in that boat, knowing what you know now, if you had the opportunity, and I don't know what the financial situation is, but I would imagine that you make a lot more money on the main roster than you would as an NXT talent. But could we see a point where guys like Tyler Breeze, like Ty Dillinger, like the Ascension, like maybe even a Neville, see NXT as, you know what, I can stick around here where people love me. Every fucking time I go out there, people are dying to see me. I'm getting good high-profile matches. I'm getting time on TV, even though it's, but I'm actually winning matches. I'm doing well for myself. Could those type of guys be the ones that we see maybe stick around NXT a little bit longer?
I mean, I think, honestly, what would happen is, or what should happen is, if you're not going to make it a third brand, you definitely need to come up with some way to transition talent so they're not fucking dead in the water.
Yeah, because, so many guys
so
lately.
So many of them are just dead in the water because they were either really over as a heel, and then they, again, like I've stated numerous times on here, this guy, even Bobby Roode, he was a heel. He was a big fucking heel, right, in NXT. But when he got moved over, like, everyone was legitimately happy for him.
And they want to cheer for him.
Yeah, so they started cheering for him. So, ipso facto, he became a face. But Bobby Roode, as we've discussed many times, doesn't really work as a face. Like,
I don't think he does.
He's still the same talent, but Bobby Roode is like an asshole. Like, that's the character. Not him personally, but that's the character. He's an asshole. And if you let him do asshole shit, he will get over more with the fans.
I totally agree. It was an interesting thought because, especially now with the shuffling around of the TV contracts, with SmackDown going over to Fox, some talk of maybe some, shows showing up on FS1, for example. NXT has been one of the shows that they've been rumoring, maybe we could put that on FX1. We could see what we can do there. It might be nice to see some of these guys who otherwise don't get a lot of run on the main roster have the opportunity to go somewhere and actually get some run, win some matches, win a title. We have a secondary title in NXT now. It's not just all about the NXT championship or nothing. Mm-hmm. You got the North American title now, so it gives guys a little more room to play around perhaps. So, we'll see how it comes together. It's an interesting thought. I tend to agree with what folks are saying. I don't think the Bucks would come over and look at NXT as something that they'd be interested in. They're going to want that exposure. They're going to want to be out in front of those big crowds. They're going to be wanting to work WrestleMania and so on and so forth. We shall see. Dillinger and Shinsuke are having a Twitter war now, so I wonder what's going on there. That would be interesting to check out. And yes, no effects. I did see that Tyler Breeze, some of these guys like Breeze and Dillinger, and I think even the Revival were down here in Houston the last time they came down, just to show up on the NXT shows every now and then, surprise folks. Lit Mantis, welcome to you, sir. Dr. Huge, one of the co-hosts of Dr. Huge's show. I don't think Rude works as well. They can make the same amount of money in NXT. Everybody would say that's a good point.
Yeah, that's true.
Because folks...
but everyone don't have that stroke.
Yes, they do not. Let's get to another phone caller here. Looks like our buddy Mac Diesel is back on the phone lines. What's going on, Mac Diesel? How are you, sir?
Oh, doing great. I just had a quick question for the benchmark. There's been a lot of discussion on Twitter recently. I'm sure you've noticed about wrestlers and interactions with fans and fan etiquette, so to speak. And I know the benchmark is a wrestler himself, and I'm quite certain that after some of his matches, he's had fans come up, and specifically probably a lot of younger children. And I was just curious as to his way of thinking as to the proper etiquette for fans to come and speak with him.
Well, I mean, I myself am pretty much open. So if your kid runs up to me and like wants to take a picture or get my autograph, I have no problem with that.
Does it matter if you're working heel or face at the time?
It really does, because when it comes to kid, you just can't do that, because in this PG era and every show now, WWE sets the trends. When it was the Attitude Era, all these shows were like Rockets Hardcore, saying fuck Pete this and that. But now it's the PG era, so even as a heel, I'll take the picture with them. I may make some joke about I normally don't do this, or I'll joke with them like, "Hey, where's my money?" That type of thing. But you never want to. I mean, the way I look at it is, especially on an indie level, we provide something that they don't get in WWE. You can't just walk up generally to like a WWE superstar after their match and have there's no intermission where all the wrestlers go out there and you get to walk by the ring and talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what separates us from the major leagues, is that we can grow our fan base like that. And it's just, to me, foolish not to, because those are the people that's going to buy your merchandise and buy like your shirts or a picture, or just, they look up to you. So I think it's, as a wrestler, you should take pictures with whoever.
Yeah.
And if they come up to you, long as they're respectful and stuff, like, "Hi, can I get a picture with you?" I mean, I have kids that are shy and their parents will be like, "Hey, can you take a picture with my kid?" And I'm like, "No problem."
Yeah.
Even when I'm heel.
Yeah.
And, take the picture. It takes about 2 seconds of your life to take this picture, but it's going to mean a lot more to that person. To a story I always tell is, when we first started DZW and I was training, one of our first couple of trainees were talking about how they took a picture with me and my brother at like Comic Palooza when I wrestled there. I think that was the show I wrestled Hoyt. And I didn't even remember, because, and you can imagine, after 15 years of wrestling, I've taken a shitload of pictures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, and then he showed me the picture and he was like talking about how much that meant to him. So it's a few seconds out of your day, but that could mean a lifetime, and it could be the difference in a fan who's always thinking about joining and not.
And also to kind of piggyback off of that, because having helped out with DZW where Silky works, especially as a new promotion or as a smaller promotion, anything you can do to get fans to come back to the show.
Yes.
Nobody
wants to come back if you're like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Even if you're in character, like, there's a difference. They love to boo me, but then they know that, like, if they see me outside of that ring, that I'm going to be cordial.
You're an approachable guy.
Yeah, I'm approachable. And that's the aspect you don't get when you go to, like, the bigger shows, is that approachability to the superstars.
Yeah, exactly. Mac Diesel, any interactions that you've had with professional wrestlers that has kind of shaped your opinion on the matter?
I'm really glad to hear the Benchmark. And by the way, is it Benchmark or Silky, or do you prefer one or the other?
It's either one.
Either one, man. He's good with both.
Okay. All right, Mr. Silky. But, whenever I was a young kid, our dad took us to a independent wrestling show, and it just meant the world to my brother and I, ages 9 and 7, to meet some of the wrestlers. And, we even remember some of their names, and they're long gone, but, it meant the world. And I guess a lot of the talk that's gone on recently is, I guess, some of the bigger names, fans saying that some of them are rude. And kind of the way I look at it is, I feel like if I were in that position, and I just from talking with you a moment here, I feel like you'd be the same way, Silky, is, you take the time out of your day at least to wave or say, "Hey, I'm busy, but love you, gotta go," something to that effect. But anyway, that was the question that I had, and you touched on it, so I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and that really makes me think a lot more of you, that you had that reaction. So
no problem.
it was nice talking to you guys. I will let you go, and talk to you guys later.
Thanks again, Mac Diesel, for the call. We always appreciate it, sir. Thanks for being with us.
And that goes back to back when we were doing the podcast, and they had the story about Sasha Banks, who came out and was like, she didn't like that, like, you know, that's what autograph signings are for. And I was very vocal about, like, this is why we're here. If they didn't want, you shouldn't be worried about how many people are going to run up to you and ask for your autograph. You should worry when no one gives a fuck who you are.
Exactly right.
Walking through the airport. So
that's when you got something to worry about.
Yeah, but so if I'm walking and someone comes up and like, hey, can I get your autograph? You know, it's like, okay, that's no problem, because I'm genuinely floored every time someone asks for my autograph. And I've been doing this for 15 years. You know, I've traveled all over the place doing this. And it's still, every time a kid asks for my autograph, it kind of floors me that they think so much of me that they want my signature.
Yeah, and I don't have anything similar to that in terms of the sports realm, but having been in film, it's the same thing. You know, when I would screen my films and you got a theater full of people that came to see a movie that you made. Like, I never would have thought that would ever happen. And so, yeah, I mean, if you can take a minute out of your day to stop and chat with somebody and you know, talk to a kid, or talk to, in my case, a student, you know, a film student who says, oh, I really love this. You know, can you tell me why you did that? You know, of course you do something like that. You know, I mean, that's people that did that for us when we were kids made us want to do what we do. So anytime we have the opportunity to do that, it's usually a good thing. Ella Chica says, I see a lot of pics with Roman and kids, that's for sure. The Lit Man says that Brodus Clay is actually a heel in real life, so we'll see about that.
He was cool when I met him.
It wouldn't surprise me, though. People who ultimately stalk you and find the location and time you're going to be at, says Bobaruski. That can get a little weird, I think, when people...
Yeah, I mean, there's ways of dealing with it, like, again, because...
You
should be worried about when no one wants to go through that effort to see you, because that means then you've totally lost connection to the fans and whatnot. So if someone goes that far, as long as it's not like, you know, long as it's not like hotels showing up at your room, but, you know, when WWE comes into town, you know, there's only 2 fucking airports they're going to come in.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, you got to be
go
willing...
out there and hang out.
Yeah.
Try to catch someone. I mean, it's weird. I would never have done it back before I was a wrestler. I would never have done it. But, I mean, it just goes to show how the rapport you have and that connection you've made, that someone's going to say, you know what? It's either Intercontinental or Hobby. I'm going to go wait at one of them and see if I can catch one of the wrestlers coming in.
And as a fan, I feel like you have to be willing to accept a polite no.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's, like, I have a personal thing. If I see somebody that I know that I want to go meet, and there are very few times that I've actually gone up to people that I wanted to meet, I don't bother people when they're with their families, number one. I don't bother people when they're eating.
Yeah.
I understand that some people do that. And as a fan, I understand if I go up to somebody in one of those situations and say, you know what, man, you know, this is my time with my family. You know, I appreciate it, but maybe we could do this another time. I'm okay with that. And I feel like as a fan, you have to be willing to, yes, it's what they do. And yes, it would be nice if everybody stopped every time somebody asked them to stop. But you also have to be respectful of the fact that, I mean, people want to have their time with their family. They want to have their personal time. And that's okay too, you know?
And I mean, I get that. I think that in the case of like running up while they're eating or something like that, obviously people who are fans should just use good judgment and stuff like that. But again, it depends on how you approach them. And I think, honestly, because if you just approach them like with all this stuff and they're like, oh, I'm really just trying to have a meal with my family or something like that, like, can I take a picture? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
I think if you go in like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just, flatter them.
Sure.
I just always wanted to meet you. I have this. Can you sign just a napkin? You know, whatever. They'll do that, no problem. I think most cases.
I think most guys would too.
Most cases, like, it's where the disconnect is when fans just feel like entitled. Like every time they see you, you've got to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And Rebecca Smith says it. You know, be responsible about your fanhood, and
exactly.
that's totally fair. I don't think that's a problem at all. Let's give a shout out to the folks who are still with us here. Some folks, thank you to those of you who gave us the Super Hearts there. Let's get our Super Hearts people first. Get the tables. Juanito, Mac Diesel, Jeffrey Cross, and Philip. Thank all of you guys for the Super Hearts. Talk about being flattered. The fact that people are actually willing to chip in a couple of bucks or a couple of Super Hearts to help out with the show is something that Silky and I still talk about. Like, how cool is that not only do people come here and watch the show and interact with us and call us and talk to us and everything like that, people are even willing to chip in a couple bucks here and there. It's very flattering.
I'll tell you, our wives thought we were crazy for going on so late.
Absolutely.
Like, you want to go on at 10 o'clock?
And when we used to do this show and have 3 people, listen, we did it as a podcast and we'd get like 3 downloads, and one of those would be Silky's daughter and one would be my son. And there was maybe like Brooke was out there with us. And so it's been great to see this thing grow. So thank you all very much. Thanks to all of you who are still with us over in Periscope and on YouTube. We are very grateful for you guys being with us as always. And we will be back on Thursday night. Thursday is triple header night on Periscope. You got the Dr. Huge show, our good buddy Dr. Huge, at 6 p.m. Central Time, followed by us coming on at 8 p.m. So be sure to join Speez and the Benchmark Show 8 p.m. on Thursday night. And then you can go straight from there to our buddies at Get the Tables.
Get the Table.
And check them out as well. So
you got to say that in a Dudley voice.
I know. I don't do the... I don't do the Dudley voice as well as I would like. Anything you want to get out there, Silky, before we say goodnight for the night?
October 13th, Hollow Ground 3, DZW. It's our 3rd anniversary show. You will see me in a 3 Stages of Hell match. I will be beating someone up several times around the facial region with chairs and whatever else I can find. tinyurl.com/SB tipjar is the website if you want to chip in a couple bucks like we talked about. Again, thank you many times, a million times thank you. Every little bit counts, gang, and we are very grateful for all of you who have pitched in. So thank you for that. And, of course, make sure to check us out on Twitter at Speez Benchmark. And as far as Silky's Wrestling, you can catch Domination Zone Wrestling. DZWrestling.com is the website, at DZ Wrestling on Twitter. So until we see you again on Thursday night, for the Benchmark, Silky Baines. Fuck the revival.
Chris Spizak here. Thank you so much for being with us, everybody. We will see you Thursday night for the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Good night, everybody.